Hi guys, thanks so much for watching Speaking of Founders Mission. I'm Stephanie, and today I have Bolun Li, who is the founder of Zogo Finance. They target Gen Z for financial education and really help them gamify financial education so that it's something engaging and they want to learn more about. And I'm really excited to talk with Bolun and hear more about his mission. Thanks for being here.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on here.
You have such a cool story. First of all, you just graduated college this year.
Right. During COVID, unfortunately.
And how old is Zogo Finance?
Zogo is 2 years old now, actually. Yeah, so I started when I was a sophomore, actually freshman at Duke, freshman year summer.
The story of how you founded this was you were sitting in a class about financial education or a seminar, and you found it to be immensely boring.
Right. I mean, it was in high school, and we were sitting. I was in this class. It was sponsored by a local bank, and they came in, talked 2-3 hours about, just all kinds of things about personal finance, and at the end, gave us a flyer to open a checking account there at their bank, and that was like all the financial education we've got. And I just remember how just ineffective, and just all my friends were just texting each other, making fun of the thing, and it was just terrible. So that was kind of the inspiration for us to start Zogo.
You must have found something about that class interesting that you thought, well, this is
Oh,
cool information.
yeah, no, because I'm a really like financially savvy. Like I really love this stuff, and when I got to Duke, I started to realize that this stuff is really important for being an adult, and a lot of my friends have no clue what's going on with their finance. And they would often kind of come to me for some help about different concepts and different things. Our solution is a personal finance app, so it's kind of like Duolingo in a sense. It has 300 bite-sized education modules that covers everything in finance. And we realized, by working with the behavioral lab at Duke, that people people don't want to learn about finance. There's no incentive for people to learn about finance. So we invented this system where it's completely gamified, and the users are actually earning this virtual currency by completing the learning modules called the pineapples in the app. And then they can redeem their pineapples for a gift card. So it becomes a system where users are getting rewarded for learning. And it's just really resonating with a lot of people, especially younger people.
That sounds really awesome. And one thing you mentioned that it's all through the app and
Right.
everything's free. So anybody could actually go out there and download the app and use this. How in the world do you manage being a new college student and a founder of a tech company?
Well, I think it's a lot of it is like time management skills that I've learned growing up, having to juggle a lot of things. Just making sure, you know, you figure out the priority in life. And for me, the priority has always, ever since I founded Zogo, has always been Zogo, not really school. Don't tell Duke about that. But it's just like after you have your priority, then everything become very clear where you should allocate your time.
Day one as a founder of Zogo, what is that like?
To me, it really didn't feel that much different because I was just wanting to do something to like add value to, the society, and just making sure that the product we build have people using it. So to us, it almost felt like a side hustle, like almost like a little project that we're doing at first. But obviously it got bigger and bigger as we keep growing it. But it didn't feel like it was a huge undertaking where, oh my God, we're like all of a sudden founders now.
You said that another thing that hasn't been hard at all has been talent acquisition.
Right. Talent acquisition is not hard because we focus on, hiring people that are our age and very passionate, driven, willing to put in the hard work. And I think our people our age think like entrepreneurship is cool, startups are cool. So it never really had a problem with kind of attracting like talents. But I think what people like some people don't understand is how difficult it is to actually work at a startup, because it's going to be a lot of work. But we're getting better and better at setting the expectation when it comes in.
It's neat that it seems like this has just been a gradual up for you. You had this great idea, you ended up coming up with the plan, you have a great team, and now you guys seem to be doing really well. And you said that you're working a lot with credit unions. What makes credit unions a cool group to work with? And how do you help them?
Right. Well, so credit union, they're non-for-profit financial institutions, and they care a lot about their members. They care a lot about the community that they're in, and they care a lot about financial education. So it kind of all very much aligned with what Zogo is trying to do. And they also have a huge problem, which is awareness. Like a lot of young people have no clue what a credit union is. And once again, Zogo is kind of coming in here to try to solve that problem for them. They understand our mission, understand what we're trying to do, and are helping us shape kind of the future of Zogo.
You're also looking to work with banks, and how else do you plan to expand?
We have banks coming at us, we have insurance companies, we have fintechs. There's just a lot of, because the cool thing about the platform that we built at Zogo is that it's not competitive to anyone. It's complementary to almost all financial services, because at the end of the day, everyone wants the consumers to learn about what they have to offer. And we kind of build a platform that incentivizes people to do that.
You developed educational modules or back-end learning, and you said that you worked with the behavioral lab at Duke. So what was interesting about that? When you go there, that sounds like a pretty cool project to work on. What was it like to be able to go in there and then really learn the psychology behind what people are clicking and what's working and what isn't?
Duke has great resources, to offer their students. So we work with the researchers, and the research, I mean, it's just fascinating. Behavioral economics is fascinating because it's very counterintuitive sometimes. But it works. And one of the biggest things that I've learned in just, I guess, being an econ major and just behavioral economics in general is that incentives work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe that incentives just works. And having the right incentives is going to make everything a lot easier.
Who did you guys test this on when you first started it? Were you just working in your group of friends to help them and see how it worked out?
Yeah, we went to the mall, we grabbed kids in the mall, like we just tested a bunch of people.
That sounds dangerous. You shouldn't be grabbing kids in a mall.
We're just like, getting everyone's feedback, getting the lab feedback. Like it was a lot of feedback that we have to get before we launch it.
And what was it like whenever people started using it and you saw that it was not only something fun for them to use, but that they were really getting the information? Were your friends just totally mind blown about the stuff that they learned?
Yeah, first of all, I think a lot of people are just mind blown about the business model. Like they couldn't figure out how we were able to do this. But second of all, I think it's just people are mind blown about like how little they know about their finance. And that's really scary to me in the sense like a lot of our users don't even know the most basic things. Like what is a stock? They have no clue what a stock is. So it's, a lot of our community is also underbanked. So it's just a perfect match for them to do something like this. Mm-hmm.
I love that it's free and available to everybody. And then, like you said, it is a cool way to incentivize people because it's such an important thing to learn. It's not like just knowing the stock market. It's about like knowing how your basic everyday products work.
Right.
Because it does make a difference, where you choose to get a loan or where you decide to open an account. What are some of the top things that you think that everybody should know that they can learn on Zogo?
Yeah, so we asked this question to our user. The three most interesting topic for them. Number one is investing. Number two is budgeting. Number three is saving. So it sounds really basic,
Mm-hmm.
but those three, like you can just tell, like people don't understand even the basics. But we cover like literally, like we even have cryptocurrency as a module on the app. So like we covers everything on the app. But like it's just striking to see how people don't know the basics.
You're targeting Gen Z. So who are your users? What's like your typical user look like?
Yeah, so we have about 45% of our users are Gen Z, another 40% are millennials, and the rest are baby boomers and a lot older. But majority of the users are Gen Z and millennials.
That's cool though that you said that it's Gen Z, millennials, and then baby boomers. So
yeah, we have 70 years old crushing it on the app. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have like the other day, I saw a comment from our user and he was like, thanks so much for Zogo. Like I now understand how I can retire properly in 2 weeks. It's just fascinating to see that.
It's so great though that you can give people hope like that.
Right. No, definitely. It feels good. And we have, we realized that this pineapple thing is really immobilized the entire community. Like we put a Instagram post out there the other day and was like, submit a video of like why you love Zogo and you earn like 1,000 pineapples. we got like hundreds and hundreds of videos from our users recording themselves saying why they love using Zogo. And it was just shocking to see some of the comments. Like there were kids like jumping on there, 13, 14 years old,
Oh,
talking
God.
about how they use it every day. And it was very rewarding experience. It's almost like you're being a teacher, but you're being teacher to thousands and thousands of people at the same time.
Wow. That is like the coolest thing.
Right.
I can see this now. You go through and to start with the elementary kids even. That would be so great. You'd have all these people graduating from high school who'd be experts.
Right.
If you didn't do Zogo, what would you have done?
Very good question. I think I would have probably gone into one of those classic Duke, track, like either finance, consulting. I don't know, honestly. But I think my heart has always been in entrepreneurs, like creating my own thing.
Where did you get this interest for finance? Was it something that was really important when you were growing up that your family talked a lot about or that they taught you about?
Yeah, no, I always like finance. When I was young, I started collecting, we have a checking account. My parents helped me understand these concepts, give me a stockbroker account as well when I was really young. So, they really educated me like from a very early age. Hence why, and I also just really enjoy the concept of like business. Like I want to know how it works. So yeah, that's I'm really interested in business growing up. And I think, ever since high school, I just started doing all these things and it just makes me more and more interested.
You grew up in China, then moved to Boston, and then moved to North Carolina.
Right, right.
How old were you when you came to the US?
I was 13 years old, came here all by myself. My
Oh my,
parents would go back home. Have to live with like host families, didn't speak English at the time. So it was a challenge at first, but I think those period of time really helped me become who I am today. Very independent, not afraid of conflicts, and making sure I can articulate my opinions very clearly. So I think it really helped me a lot those difficult times.
what was that like? Is there a difference culturally between the interest in learning finance in China versus in
Oh,
America?
yeah, I mean, spending money is actually a problem for Chinese. Like they have no problem. They would save every single penny of their paycheck if they could. Like most of the middle income like Chinese family has hundreds of thousands of dollars saved. But in the US, I think the emphasis is more on the credit, like the credit card concept and everything that are being, and then another big one is student debt. Like, I mean, that's a huge problem. And I honestly, like if you ask me the question, if I had to start something else, I would probably start a different type of university that would solve the student debt problem. Because I don't think those refinance, all those things are going to really do anything for the student debt.
That gives you such a unique perspective on the culture here, but also building your company because you understand what it's like to come from in a culture where that is super important to know about the finances and to save and the importance of all of that, being really well versed in it, and then being able to come here and see the totally different attitude towards money and learning about finance. And for you to be able to fuse those two things and build Zogo seems like such a tremendous advantage for the people who are learning from you guys.
Right. No, I mean, it's just like I think having the two culture in my head has always helped. Just come up with ideas that are just very different because the two cultures are so like drastically different. It gives me the ability to like just think completely outside of the box of, normally what people would think. So I think, yeah, I really think coming to the US was a great decision I made when I was 13.
Bold decision to do, at 13. Wow. I think you must have had Zogo in your head even back then somehow.
I still have the same mentality of saving, like making sure I manage money well when I'm running Zogo. Like I run a very lean shop, right? Like very tight, and everything is under control. We've been profitable since March, even during COVID.
Wow.
So it's just, we want to make sure that we're running a business. We're not burning cash. We're generating profit.
Flash forward to Finovate 2019. Tell me about that, because you were saying that was such an amazing experience.
We did this competition called Finovate in 2019. It's like the most renowned fintech competitions out there. And there were 72 international companies that were competing. and and then the judges were all the bank executives, like 5,000 of them or something like that in the stage. So it was a huge stage. Like I think that's probably one of the biggest stage I've been on. And I have to give a live demo. They don't allow presentations, so it has to be live demo of Zogo, like connecting my phone, everything to the screen. And it was amazing. Like I think people really resonated with the story of how financial education is being delivered. And it just resonated, like it just makes sense to people of
Mhm.
what we're doing. So we signed 10 financial institutions before we even have the product.
Wow.
So it was a great experience and validation, I think, for us to know that there is a need of this in the market.
You guys bootstrapped all of the financing for this.
Yeah, we have some angel investors that are very fortunate, like early on, who got in, but other than that, it's just completely bootstrapped.
I feel like that builds credibility for what you're doing too, because you're not out there, making reckless financial decisions. You guys are really putting in the hard work to make sure that that this product is something that's really valuable, but you're also doing it in a financially sound way. How have you grown Zogo? How big is Zogo right now? And, how fast did that happen?
We have 70,000 users today, launched 8 months ago, did not spend a single dollar on advertising, completely organic growth.
What do you attribute the success of the organic growth to? Without any advertising, that seems amazing to have the tens and thousands of users.
Pineapples.
Pineapples.
It really is, because we have a feature on the app where if you invite your friends, you get 1,000 pineapples. 75% of our users are referred by their friends or families.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
really amazing. And it also shows that they find such value in it too, not only just in the pineapples, but in
Right.
the product.
Exactly. Yeah, so our NPS score is like off the roof. It's like 60, 69, I think.
Wow.
It's really high NPS score. People love sharing this.
How many minutes a day or a week do people spend using Zogo? What's optimal to help them learn?
Right. Our average session length right now is about 10 minutes. And to give you some comparison, like TikTok is 10 minutes, Instagram is 3 minutes, Facebook is 3 minutes. So it's really high. Like people see this more as a game than, just like an app.
It's
Yeah.
tremendously engaging, but also 10 minutes, compared to the other social formats that you shared, that's really impressive that people are spending that much time.
Right.
But on the opposite end, it's also really cool that they're not spending, an hour in class learning this that might just go over their head. It's cool that it's like in 10 minutes a day, they're able to use this and
Right.
it's using their brain in a positive way rather than it might be scrolling through a news feed mindlessly on some of the other ones.
Right, exactly. And they're able to just like keep the information on their phone as well if they want to revisit it later, right? So that's another thing. It becomes a toolbox for them that they can use in their future.
That is really valuable because you do learn things. And even when it sticks with you, sometimes you just want to go back and reference it again. So what's it been like growing your company during the pandemic?
It actually helped us in the sense, like, because everything is digital, as you know, but for us, I mean, it was just, we are so young, we're so used to technology and everything. It didn't really make any difference for us because we were so used to it. But it's definitely helped us. Like it's a catalyst for us to keep growing.
What are you most proud of that you've done through your work at Zogo?
I think we built a product that people love and passionate about. Like they're passionate about Zogo. I think that's really what's exciting to see. Like we have power users that will just go out there and do whatever it takes to advocate for Zogo. And I'm proud of the team that we built, a team that's willing to sacrifice their own comfort for the greater good of Zogo. And then I'm also very proud of the progress we've made, of course, on the business in general, like how quickly we've grown to, now over 30 financial institutions in just a year. And we're shooting for 100 by the end of this year. If the next 4 months is going to be crazy, but it's just a very exciting growth, I think, in the past year.
You guys are doing such great things. What's the culture like at your company?
I started asking a couple of our employees, was like, what do you think is the culture at Zogo? And all of them said the same thing. So I was like, this must be the culture of Zogo. They said it's a place where everyone's ideas, no matter who it came from, no matter how small it is, it always get heard and it can impact the bigger picture of Zogo. And they also say like it's a culture of ownership. Like everyone owns the thing that they have to deliver to the team. So everyone feel like they're doing something meaningful.
I think that's perceptive of you to say, what is the culture? Because I think a lot of people, when they're thinking about corporate culture, they think that it's just like, okay, we don't have to think about that. It's not on the radar. But every company has a culture, whether or not you realize it. And if you
Right.
don't realize it, it's probably not going to be a great one. You want people who are going to be in the trenches. And it sounds like you have a really great team around you. How do you build your team?
Honestly, back then I really needed a tech co-founder, like someone who's tech oriented. So I posted on the computer science Facebook group at Duke, and I was like, free dinner tonight if you come to this interview. And then I got a bunch of like 20 something people coming in, and then I finally started working with the co-founder I'm working with today. And then the second co-founder, I invested in his last company, and just know him for a long time. So and he's also completely tech oriented. Like both my co-founders are completely tech oriented, and it just gave me so much mental freedom to really focus on the business. And then they focus on the technology. At the very beginning, that's what we like. They built like every day. They're just building the product, and I'm just selling. And just it's a very good combo.
That's awesome. I love how you hired them with the free dinner. That could have ended up like a big 200 person catered meal.
Yeah, I know it's expensive, but it's worth it.
One thing that I noticed when I was looking at your website, you talked a lot about how a lot of people in Gen Z don't feel the loyalty. How do you build loyalty, especially to something like a financial institution?
It's the genuine interest in the customer and very customer centric. I think Zogo in some sense focus really much on that. Since we don't have any fundings, we have to be super focused on our customers, on what they need to get right. And so I think it's the same thing. No matter how large you grow, you have to focus on the customers and their value proposition.
What are you hoping to do with Zogo? What do you want your legacy to be with Zogo?
I think that's the cool thing about Zogo is we can leave a legacy in the world. I think we just want every single young people growing up to have access to this and be able to learn from this, and grow up not have to worry about their finance and not knowing what's going on. At least be aware of it. Like I think that's really important. That, and also just making sure that we are providing the most value to each of our users at the same time.
And then where do you think you guys are going to be in 5 years? What's your hope for your sort of near immediate future with Zogo?
Yeah, I think we're going to be $1 billion company, hopefully in 5 years. And I know that sounds like a long time for me, 5 years. So I definitely think we're going to be able to do it.
Well, it was so great talking to you. Thank you so much for being here and telling us about Zogo. I loved hearing the story, and I wish you guys all the best things. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.